What's up, guys? This is Travis with my Bring Back. Welcome to your 8th tutorial, I think it is. Yeah, the 8th tutorial. And what we're going to do is just set up this thread and get our splash working. We're going to test it out, make sure it works, and I'm going to kind of talk through everything we've done so far after we get it working. Basically, we kind of set up this thread, we set it to new thread, and now we need to kind of define what that thread is. And basically, what a thread allows you to do is run multiple threads at the same time. Use this for games because it's really important to do more things, more than one thing at the same time for the most part. So you can do that with threads, and they'll kind of run all at the same time to a sense. So it's really important in game development. But basically, what we want the thread layout to do is within a thread there's a method that you use called run. So we're just going to set that up, public void run, and then you set it run with with parentheses like that, and then you open bracket and hit enter. So this run method is within this thread that we're setting up. And basically what you want within the run method is there's three other things basically you need for when you're working with threads, because a lot of times when threads, like I said, there's multiple threads running at once, so you can do more than one thing. So sometimes when everything's running at once, you have these collisions and it just doesn't work and gives you errors and such. So you always want to say try something, and we're going to just set up our try and then with the brackets. And the other thing that you want to do is, if that try doesn't work, you want to catch those exceptions, so you know where you went wrong. You can log something in your debugger and kind of catch those exceptions and work through those problems you're going to have. And this is where you do that. Like, you could say, hey, logo timer thread's not working, and you can log that. If there's exceptions, it'll catch it and print that statement out, so you kind of know which thread's messing up or where the problem kind of lays. So that's where we're going to catch the exceptions. And then the last method, or the last function that we can use, is called finally. So this is, again, all within the run method. These are those things that you want to set up, and basically the run, try, catch, finally, you want those in your thread. So now let's define some things. And it's given us some errors because this catch isn't properly set up. So I'm just gonna delete that right now, and that's what we're gonna just start here. And again, what we want this activity to do is just print that background for 5 seconds, kill it, or start a new activity, our menu activity, and then just basically kill itself. Which kind of a depressing life for this activity here. That's his only job. But yeah. Anyways, we're gonna get into it. So basically, we're gonna try to make it sleep for a little bit, and then after that sleeping time, we're gonna have it start up that activity. So first, let's set that up. And within the thread, you can use some special little methods, such as sleep. So we're going to set up something called sleep, and this is just going to basically make the thread go to sleep for a little bit. And when you're working with computers, 1000 is generally 1 second. It's defined in milliseconds, so we want our activity to sleep for 5 seconds. So I'm going to type in 5000 and hit a little semicolon there and hit enter. It's giving us errors because, well, we'll get to that in a second. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. And then after it sleeps, it's going to start up a new activity. So to do that, we're going to say start activity. Pretty simple so far. Just some things you have to remember. It's not too bad. You want to start an activity, called start an activity. If you want something to go to sleep, tell it to go to sleep. See, programming isn't that bad. We're just going to put a colon after this, and basically this is giving us an error now because it takes, as you can see, it says if you hover over it, it kind of gives you some details on anything, anytime you have an error. But it takes an intent within its parameters. We don't really know what an intent is, but we need to set one up, and it's not that bad. So we can do it one of two ways. I'm going to kind of do it the way that I think's easiest. Again, just like we set up this thread, just like anytime we set up variables, we're going to say intent and then label it menu intent. And again, you can label it whatever you want. I'm just going to label it menu intent just so I kind of know what it is. We're going to set this equal to new intent and close off our bracket there, and we're going to hit quotations and first we're just going to hover over this and hit import intent so we can use intent. It's kind of an Android thing, just like we had to do with activity, all that other good stuff. So it just added an import up there. But basically what an intent is well, it's a lot of things, but actually I won't even explain the intent for now, but basically what we want this intent to open is our menu class. So how do we define, like I said, how do we define our action name basically? Well, that was in the manifest. And I'm quickly just going to change this name because it'll make more sense this way. I always, for some reason, label stuff wrong. But again, the action name under the menu activity in our manifest that we set up last time, I'm going to change this to menu just because it'll make more sense. So there we go. This is what we're looking for. This is what we're going to refer to in our Java. So I'm just going to control copy that and then go back to our main Java and control V. Now it's going to look for this intent in the manifest, and it's going to set that intent equal to menu intent. So now we just need this activity to start an intent, and since we just defined one, we're going to use that. So now we know, or we defined what this is, and we have our start activity intent. And again, you want this intent to match what the manifest says for the action name. I'm just going to save that. And there we go. We have our try method set up. After it does all this stuff, and there's no exceptions, it's not going to catch any errors. After we get all that done, there's one last thing we can do is call a method in the finally, or do any closure we want in our finally brackets here. And all we want to do is finish the current activity. And you do that by finish. Again, simple programming language here for the most part. And this is just going to finish the current activity. So after we start this new one, it's just going to finish this one before it actually starts it. There we go. The only other thing we need is that catch little bracket there, and that's what's giving us this error, because when you try and sleep, that comes from the thread class that little method does. So we're going to need to say add catch clause to surrounding try. So we're going to add that, and it sets it up there for us. It's kind of a default. It's going to look for this type of a variable, interrupted exception, and this E is referring to here. It's just going to print stack trace. That's not too important, but I just wanted to show you, if you just hover over that, how simple it is to set up that catch, and we won't have to define that ourselves. So basically we have everything working. We have set up our thread officially. It's going to do these things, and the only thing we have to do now is start our thread. Because we defined it, we haven't used it. That's why it's giving us this yellow underline there, because we set it up and we haven't used it. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down to the end of our thread, which is this one with the semicolon. That comes from this open bracket. So we're going to just hit enter And right below that, we're still within the onCreate method. All we're going to do is hit logo timer, which is our thread that we set up right here, and then hit period start method. So there we go. It's going to start our thread, and now we're just going to save it and check it out, make sure it works. Oh, that's just hideous. Terrible. But at least our application works perfectly. So it ran that for 5 seconds and then opened up our menu. So I hope you guys like this tutorial. Quickly just talk through again what we did overall, just to make sure it's ingrained in your mind. If not, that's basically this tutorial. If you guys just want to finish here, thanks again for watching, all that good stuff. But here's our menu class. We set up it as an activity. We're calling our onCreate. Within our onCreate, we set the content view, the background. We need to set up a thread that's going to basically, so we do it this way, thread, and then define what it is, new thread. Within that new thread, there's a bracket and there's a run method. Within that run method, there's a try, catch, and finally, we're going to try to let it sleep for 5 seconds, and then start up use the start activity function, which takes an intent. We didn't have one, so we created our own intent. This is going to match what's in the manifest for whatever activity you want to start up for the action name, and if it doesn't, it'll give you an error. And then we're going to catch any exceptions and finally finish the whole activity main Java activity. And then we set up our thread, so all we had to do is just start it. Again, if you guys are getting some problems, I'm pasting all the code in the tutorial section at mybringback.com, so you guys can watch that. Again, thanks for, or I guess go there and check your code. But thanks again for watching, subscribing, giving thumbs up. We appreciate that. So just keep clicking those, man. Keep clicking those thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.